Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Suzhou River, a Chinese drama romance from 2000. Now before I describe the plot of this film, I want to point out something that I think is rather important. Do not read any plot synopses or even the story summary on the back of the DVD case, because they will spoil things that do not occur until like midway through the film. I understand that distribution companies need to make the film sound interesting, so they go into detail on certain things, but in this case, it's a disservice to the viewer because they reveal too much. So here's my spoiler-free summary for you. Now, the movie opens with narration from a man who is a videographer. He takes videos and sells them or sells his services to people, and he's hired by a nightclub to shoot their mermaid show, which is basically, some girls in mermaid outfits who jump into a big fish tank, and swim around. The purpose of this is to attract customers. Now, one of these actresses in this show is a young woman by the name of Meimei, played by Zhou Xun. Now, our narrator quickly falls for her, but her personality is a bit odd. She's quirky and will sometimes get sad for no apparent reason. She also disappears for days on end, leaving our narrator in suspense until her return. Now, after we get a feel for these lovebirds, the narrator tells the story of another character, a deliveryman named Mardar, who falls in love with a girl named Moudan, also played by Zhou Xun. So they're played by the same actress, but they're two different characters. Now, the problem is that this deliveryman is involved with some shady people, which eventually creates a rift between the two lovebirds there. So you kind of have two different relationships that are at play here. That's all you need to know about the story before watching the film, because the narrative has a mystery component to it that really drives the viewer's interest throughout. And if you know what's going to happen later on, it might, hurt that anticipation for what's going to happen. Now, you need to have your brain turned on, all right, while watching this one, because there are some intricacies, parallels, and references that you will probably spot as things move along. And it helps to create this, I would say, intoxicating vibe to everything, because I was curious as to why certain events were presented to me. It just felt like there was more occurring beneath the surface, and that's definitely true in this case. Now, with a name like Suzhou River, you're probably thinking of like a beautiful waterway in the mountains, and you would be wrong. Because the waterway in this film is located in the middle of an urban area and is extremely polluted and rather hard on the eyes. The narrator himself uses the term filthy to describe it early on in the film. Now, consequently, the visuals in this movie are very drab, gray, and cold looking, with dirty and uncomfortable urban environments on display. However, the nighttime shots are quite atmospheric, I think. If you want to see a Chinese film that showcases urban landscapes from that country, this is the movie for you. And I do think that visual choice by the filmmakers does complement the story. It does. Now, in terms of camera work, some segments are shot in first-person perspective. This is especially true near the beginning, but it also appears a few times later on. With that said, the third-person traditional perspective is used for much of the runtime, so it's shot mostly like a conventional film. But, yet again, I would make the argument that the limited use of the first-person camera does make sense when considering the story, just like the choice of the urban, cold environments makes sense when you think of the story, which I won't spoil for you. Now, performance-wise, Zhou Xun is simply fantastic in this movie. Certainly a great introduction to her, to this actress if you've never seen her in anything else. She takes on the difficult task of exhibiting a wide range of emotion, and she pulls it off effortlessly. She has scenes in this movie of intense emotion that she portrays with her eyes very effectively. They're like daggers at some points in this film. She's really good in this. And as I mentioned earlier, she plays multiple characters, and they do seem like legitimately different people, so that's an accomplishment. Now, Suzhou River was one of Xun's first breakout roles, and she received awards and recognition for her performance, all of which are well-deserved, I think. So is there anything about this movie that could be a problem for some viewers. Probably. This is a deliberately paced art house film at its core, meaning that some people may have trouble connecting to the characters or the storytelling structure. It's a little fragmented. I wouldn't say that this is a confusing movie, but in order to build mystery, it's slightly fragmented, and you got to pay attention to what's going on. You also may find that it's a bit too cold on some levels, in terms of the characters and story. But, the good thing is that the runtime is only 79 minutes long, so it does not outstay its welcome. I think it's worth your time for sure, and I found it to be even more interesting after a second viewing. But again, this is going to play up very strongly with people who like, indie films, art house films. You're going to like that more compared to somebody who's into more like the mainstream films. So if what I said in this review sounds interesting, you should definitely check this one out. Suzhou River is widely available on DVD, at least in the United States. And as always, I will see you next time.